Can you really buy your way out of responsibility for creating greenhouse gas emissions which harm the planet? That's the key to the argument about carbon offsetting. It's like a compensation scheme for governments, companies or individuals. If you produce carbon emissions, let's say you're an airline or a steel factory, you can try to balance them by finding other ways to reduce carbon in the atmosphere by an equivalent amount. That could mean paying to plant trees to help store carbon, or to build wind farms to help reduce the amount of fossil fuels used in energy networks. The global aim is to reach net zero emissions no later than 2050. That means reducing emissions of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide to the absolute minimum and offsetting any that remain. Some big schemes already enable rich countries to offset some of their emissions by paying poorer countries to switch to cleaner fuels as they build their infrastructure. Or there are smaller schemes, so a company producing concrete or an individual who flies a lot can pay a broker to fund, say, a wetland restoration project on the other side of the world. This voluntary carbon market for companies and individuals was worth an estimated £300 million last year, and it's expected to grow rapidly over the next decade. But environmental groups are really sceptical. They argue that offsetting now can simply be a way for the wealthy to avoid or delay taking the necessary steps to reduce their use of fossil fuels. And even if you're paying money towards offsetting schemes, how can you be sure that those trees wouldn't have been planted or those wetlands restored anyway? How permanent are your offset contributions likely to be? Trees, of course, can be cut down or burn in wildfires. In other words, is your money really compensating for the extra greenhouse gases you've produced? Supporters of offsetting argue that in some sectors like air travel, there aren't yet any realistic alternatives which can produce fewer carbon emissions. So unless you want to ban air travel altogether, offsetting can play some role in mitigating the immediate impact on the environment, and airlines are already doing it. New technologies are also looking at more secure ways to store carbon permanently in the future, or to suck it out of the air. That could make offsetting more robust. But in the end, it shouldn't be seen as a reason for inaction elsewhere. We still need to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels dramatically and take other steps to protect our planet.